Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to participate in this great conference. It's really a great honor also to speak in the first session, and I am very happy to be here in Torremolinos. So I am going to speak about quantum state transfer mediated by topological H states. So by states which appear in topological insulators, I will refer to one-dimensional and quasi-one-dimensional topological insulators. And when they are finite, appear states which are protected against disorder. So they can be very useful to transfer information. So that is the outline of my talk. I first will speak about a platform which has semiconductor quantum dot arrays. And I will give a very brief overview of these systems and how is the state of the art to transfer information through this array of quantum dots. But they are not topologically complex. They are arrays of atoms. And then I will show you that by means of Locke engineering, so applying an AC periodic field, a time periodic field, you can imprint topology to these systems and make that these systems are quantum simulators of topological insulators. And then I will speak the role of H states for the transfer of information, and also that there is an issue, which is the time. It is a protocol which is very slow, and then I will tell you that one can speed it up with domain walls. And then I will show you that one can also connect qubits to this array, a topological array, and then transfer the information and produce coherent operation between multi-qubit states. So the first thing I wanted to mention are that from the next 10 years, long arrays of semiconductor quantum dots have been implemented. And then as scalability is one of the problems to implement the quantum computer, one proposed to do these modular architectures where small, high coherent areas are connected by quantum links, which are these semiconductor quantum dot arrays. And the question is that one has to transfer the information with protocols which should be robust and also should be able to be implemented experimentally. So the most popular nowadays are these conveyor mode, which is a propagating sinusoidal potential which carries a particle, and they have achieved to put together two qubits and make two qubit operations. And this is a adiabatic protocol. Also, this bucket brigade consists on sequentially transfer a particle or a spin just moving the barrier, the tunneling barriers, and it's also an adiabatic protocol. And then what it has been proposed recently is to apply these shortcuts to adiabaticity protocols, which are nothing else than two versatile ways to speed up the adiabatic protocols to this semiconductor quantum dots. So what you do usually is like inverse engineering. You just design the way you want the transfer, and then you impose boundary conditions and solve the time-dependent Schrödinger equation, and then you get the shape of your pulses of the protocols. And it has been used to transfer, for instance, singlet states directly from one H to another one in an array of quantum dots, or to transfer a whole spin qubits in arrays of quantum dots. And finally, with this short introduction, one have used as well these hybrid systems, cavities, which couple for instance, two double quantum dots, and then by means of photons, these hybrid systems, one transfer the information between the qubits. So, but now I am going to speak about these H states, and then this is in a paper already more than 20 years ago. It's a theoretical one by Stace, who proposed to bring the ideas of quantum optics proposed by Chirac and Soler, and to transfer the information. In the case of Chirac and Soler, they proposed how to transfer the information between two real atoms by means of photons. He proposed to consider artificial atoms, these semiconductor quantum dots, and then the electron will transfer the information, and it will be done through a quantum Hall state. These quantum Hall states are states which are protected against disorder. So there were some theoretical proposals to entangle distant spin qubits, distant, for instance, nuclear spins as well, by means of electrons which propagate through this topologically protected state. So you can transfer with high fidelity the information. But now the question that one can do is, if it's possible to implement in these semiconductor quantum dot arrays, which are built up by electrostatic means, topology. And then the easiest system that most of you, of course, know is the change of dimers. The change of dimers is the one-dimensional topological insulator where these two parameters, the intradimer hopping and the interdimer hopping, define the topological phase, so the ratio between them. So this system, you for sure know that it has been implemented, this array of dimers, in several platforms, like for instance in cold atoms, also in waveguides arrays, and also in photonic crystals, where they implement also what is called the STAP SSH, which is an array of dimers with some additional atoms, and we will speak about later. And also in semiconductors, it has been implemented in indium arsenide with thin atoms. And also, it is a very nice experiment by Michelle Simmons in Sydney, where what she did is to consider silicon with phosphorus dopants, and then with STMC they designed this change of dimers, and they took care, when they studied the spectrum, that the effect of second-order neighbors was small because it destroyed the topology, as we will see in a while. So now the question, just 2 words about this dimer change. As I mentioned, it is an array of dimers, and then it is usually known, the SSH model, which is the Suess-Riefer-Heger Hamiltonian, which is a tie-binding model up to first neighbors. And then if you have a finite lattice, what you see is that there is a region where when you plot the energy as a function of the ratio between these two hoppings, then you see that there is a region where you have the gap, an isolator, and it is a trivial phase with an invariant which is 0, and then up to when this radius is around 1, then what you have is but there is a pair of H states which merge from the bulk. They are isolated from the bulk. They decay exponentially to the bulk, and they hybridize. And then these are called H states because they are localized mainly at the H's, and I say they decay exponentially. So then this system is classified in the BDI class with this particle Hall, time reversal, and chiral symmetry. And then there is, however, a problem. When you don't have the effect of long-range hoppings, then one can treat it with this Hamiltonian. But if you have an important effect of what is called even-order hoppings, so hoppings between atoms of the same time in the same type in the unit cell, then the chiral symmetry is broken, and then you lose the protection against off-diagonal disorder, which is the protection it has, so against the hopping or the bonds in the atoms. However, if you have now hopping between first and third neighbors and atoms which are of different type in the unit cell, then chiral symmetry is conserved, but even more. You can have more topological phases with winding numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and to each of these numbers correspond pair of H states. For instance, if you have first and third neighbors, you have one pair of H state, which is at the H's, and then you have another pair of H states, which is located in the third side from both sides. So then you can study the dynamics with these states. So the question is, can we implement a model where we can get rid of all these even-order hoppings, so between atoms, hoppings which connect atoms of the same time, like second neighbors and so on, and just remain with the odd ones? And then, as you know, there is a technique which is Floquet engineering, which is nothing else than to apply an AC driving to a Hamiltonian, and then you can control the properties of the atoms, the molecules, and of course also of the matter. There is a full field of Floquet topological insulators. But one property which is interesting and was proposed many years ago was that when you have a diatomic molecule, like here, this is not an artificial one, and you apply sinusoidal field, then you renormalize when the frequency is large compared with other scales in the system. You renormalize your hoppings by this Bessel function. And as it has zeros, you are able also to fully renormalize the hopping or the bond up to 0 and induce the localization of the particles. So then it is interesting because you can, with this, control also the properties of materials, like for instance in graphene, you can induce the merging of the Dirac cones and so on. So now what happens is that with this sinusoidal potential, we cannot get rid of all of these even order hoppings that disturb us. And then what one can do, for instance, the next thing one can consider a Hamiltonian with an array of photons or quantum dots and apply an AC field which is local at each quantum dot with certain intensity of the amplitude of the time periodic function, and which periodic function, which is designed like this, is 1 in half of the period and minus 1 in the other half. So if you do that and you go to the regime of high frequency, you can see that you have now an effective Hamiltonian time independent, and then these hoppings are renormalized in this way. And then what happens is that when this condition is fulfilled, and these are the amplitude in each quantum dot, the I and the J, then you have zeros of this function, and then you can get rid of all these hoppings. And we can apply this condition to these even order hoppings. That is an example of one can do. Also, one can define some additional electric fields, and then you can produce the dimerization that we need for having a dimer change with just this odd order hoppings. And then what happens is that now we have conserved this chiral symmetry, we have protection against disorder. And if we would plot this invariant, this topological invariant, as a function of the decay length, then one can see as a function of the electric field divided by the frequency that when the decay length is very long, we can have winding numbers, large winding numbers, and many pairs of H states. So now I come to the transfer of information as it is in my talk, and first just finishing with this example of Floquet engineering. I just want to show that, for instance, if you plot the quasi-energies, which is now the magnitude that one plots in these periodic fields, as a function of the intensity divided by the frequency, at certain point we have this winding number, which is the topological invariant, equal to 1. We have one pair of H states, which is located at the edge. If you put a spin, for instance, here in the first site in an array of 12 atoms, then it will perform Rabi oscillations between the two H's, and these states are fully decoupled from the bulk, these H states. But if you put another spin in the third side, for instance, this particle 2, then what happens is that it will spread in the bulk. Here we have just one pair of these localized states. But now if we go to higher intensities, now we have 2 pairs of H states, and then the other particle also will oscillate with higher frequency because the splitting is different, and then we have an interesting dynamics. But what happens here? Here we have already the transfer. This is a Rabi-like oscillations, but that is a bidirectional dynamics that one don't control, doesn't control. And also what happens is that this the time scale of this transfer is very slow because it relies on the hybridization of the states, and when the length of your system increases, then the time increases exponentially. So now let us go again to the first neighbor model of SSH for simplicity, and just first neighbor hoppings. And then I will show you how one can control these dynamics. And then what one can do is to begin with doing one of the hoppings equal to 0. And then just you can localize there your particle, your photon, or whatever here. And then you apply some adiabatic protocol here, and then you increase it to a certain value, always fulfilling this condition, which is where you have these topological states, and then the particle is transferred from the left to the right. But then you switch off again with this protocol, this hopping, and then you have done a unidirectional transfer. But again, this transfer is very slow, depends exponentially with the length. So now, in order to speed up the transfer, we have one can do is to consider topological domain walls, as in the way I showed you. For instance, again, in this simple model of the change of dimers, if you put 2 dimers together in different topological phases with an odd number of atoms or sites, then what happens is that you now will have 3 robust states, which are protected against disorder, against off-diagonal disorder. Then now the speed increases because now you have hybridization between these 3 states. So now one can compare, and for instance, here you have just one domain in arbitrary units, then you can estimate the transfer time, which is 80, but if you have now 2 domains, it is reduced to 45, and now if you have 4 domains, but twice the length, then the time does not increase, even linearly is much shorter. So now, yes, what I want to show here is that, in fact, the protection. If we now consider one domain, and we consider also disorder in the barriers of diagonal disorder, we can see that both when one has one domain or when one has four domains, the fidelity remains close to 1 because it is protected, the system, by this topology. However, when you have a trivial change, now the fidelity drops. And it happens more even when you have a longer array. Now, if you put also disorder in the energy levels, diagonal disorder, then the system is not protected. However, the fidelity is very large when you have these four domains because the protocol is very fast. So then that is a good idea. And then also one can see that, in fact, if one has one domain or two domains, there is a dependence, exponential dependence, but now the dependence is with the length of the domain, not with the total length. So it is more convenient, in order to do a fast transfer, just to consider for a fixed length to have more domains, like here, and then with a constant length. So here is an example. For instance, if you would have 26 sites, then with one domain, the speed could be around a microsecond, and with 5 domains, around a nanosecond. Okay, but now I would like to mention some other lattices which are very interesting because they have also magnetic interferences which can be combined with topology, and then there are interesting properties. So I am speaking about Aharonov-Bohm caging effect, and then it happens in bipartite lattices, like for instance this rhombi lattice, and it comes from, as I said, magnetic interferences between the pi alpha phases. So it happens when you apply a flux of pi to the system, that if you have here, for instance, a particle, then it will spread out just in a small region, which is called the cage. And this now it corresponds to flat bands. And then if you would have interaction, another particle and interaction, as it has been recently shown here in this paper, then this effect is destroyed. So one can even, we saw a long time ago that one can even recover this caging applying an AC driving field. And there are lattices where it does not happen, like for instance the square, the triangular honeycomb, no caging. However, in these Penrose octagonal, this T3 lattice, the caging is possible. Also in this other diamond necklace change, which are very interesting properties from the topological point of view. So these lattices have been implemented, especially in photonic crystals, this rhombi, and also in superconducting circuits. Here is this T3 lattice. Now we have considered one lattice, which is called the Kreutz-Ladder lattice, and this lattice has two arrays of sites which are coupled horizontally and also in the diagonal form. And eventually also they are coupled vertically. And then in this system, one has this Aharonov-Bohm caging effect, and also one can see that if here it is shown that if we put a particle here or a photon here, and then it will spread around this area only. And then it has these flat bands, as I have mentioned, when you have the flux equal to pi. And then what you can see here is the topological phase diagram. It's a function of certain parameters, but what is important here for our purpose of transfer of information is that when you have certain parameters, for instance, the flux equal to pi half or equal to pi, there are states which are called compact states because they are fully localized at 1h, and then you can prepare your initial state here. It does not hybridize with any other. There is another one at the other side. But when you, for instance, consider the flux equal to pi and switch on this parameter, this M, this coupling between these two ladders, then there is a hybridization. So in order to transfer, what you can do is just to do an adiabatic protocol, as I have shown you, just switching on this parameter adiabatically. So as I said, it has a complicated or interesting diagram for the topological phases, and it has also another property which is very interesting, and is that it has not only a chiral symmetry, which is in this case non-local, and which does not protect against off-diagonal disorder, but it has what is called a hidden chiral symmetry. This hidden chiral symmetry can be seen when one increases the lattice unit cell to 4 atoms. That is because of commutation between the translation operator and so on. So this is the chirality, the property which makes that this system is protected against this off-diagonal disorder. But this other chirality protects against this vertical disorder, so you can have more protection in this system. Now one can see this chiral symmetry in this hidden chiral symmetry when you consider this 4-side unit cell and you plot it as a function of the 2-side cell momentum. You have the folding of the bands. Okay, so now again with the transfer, we can also implement the domain wall. So here what one can do is to put two Kreuzladder lattices with a magnetic field in opposite directions. Then you have the flux of pi and minus pi. The invariants are plus and minus 1, and it means that the difference is the number of protected states that you have in this domain wall. And then in this case 2. And here I've drawn these states. You have first to the left one state, to the right this protected state, and also you have two at the domain wall, what is called P, and also another one which is called S, and are located around here. So then also one can use another parameter to manipulate or to transfer the information, which can be to put an imbalance between the energy levels here of these two ladders. So with this imbalance, well, when you connect this imbalance below this value, then what happens is that these states, the left and right plus the P states, are hybridized, and the S remains isolated. So you can transfer the information like here. So between the left and the right, just by applying or modifying this epsilon parameter, this imbalance. And then also what you can do is if you have, for instance, more domains, you can also transfer one part from the left to the right, also leaving this invariant, which is occupied here, yeah, as we can see here. And also, finally, what you can do is to transfer from the left to a domain wall. That's what you do is to consider here a larger imbalance, which makes this part trivial. And then you have just one state here in the domain wall. You transfer it, and then you switch off again this epsilon, and then you get that you have transferred from one edge to the center of the domain wall. Okay, so with that, now I come to the last part of the talk, and then if we can use these topological lattices with these domain walls to couple qubits and then to transfer information. And then it has been proposed in some papers, and in particular in cavities. And then this case is, for instance, when you have a lattice, a topological lattice with cavities, with multi-domains, in the way I have shown you. And then what you want to do is to couple one qubit to a distant one. And then you can do that. Here is this color center, which are the emitters or the qubit. So for that, one can use this stub SSH that I have mentioned at the beginning, where when you have here I plot directly 4 domains, you have the SSH plus additional adatoms, or cavities. In this case, we are going to speak about cavities. And then you have here, in this case, for instance, 3 domain walls. So now what one can see is here, these winding numbers are 1 and minus 1. And again, you have in the domain walls these 2 states. One is this p-type state, which will help with the transfer, and the other one will do the interface with the qubits. So you can, before connecting the qubits, you can do protocols like here just to transfer the information between the left and the right. And then also you can, modifying your parameters, your hoppings, then you can transfer directly the information from the left to the domain wall, where you have this. So in this case, for instance, you can produce a Bell state, a fully entangled state, if you have 2 qubits. You have 1 qubit in the left, and you have 1 qubit in the right, and you initially have this state where it's excited state in the left, where in the emitter, then you have this state for the photonic lattice, and then you have the right state in the ground state. So what you can do is execute the pi-half pulse, and then on the hopping between the leftmost side cavity and the qubit. And then Then you switch on also this transfer protocol that I have shown you to transfer through all the topological lattice the information to the right. And then there you also execute a second pipe pulse. And you obtain, one can see that one obtained this state, which is a Bell state. And then you can also do that, for instance, when you put also a qubit in the center. And then you can have states like this W. So concerning the Bell state, you can also plot the concurrence, which gives you the fidelity. And then you can see, again, when you have more domains, the fidelity is larger. So with that, I want to conclude. I just want to I wanted to show you that topological H states can be implemented in different platforms, but they allow the transfer of quantum information with high fidelity, because we have compared with the case where you don't have this topology as a normal array of quantum dots, for instance, and then that you can speed up your transfer of information with domain walls in your topological lattice. You can also, you have seen as well that you can use these systems with these domain walls to generate entanglement between distant qubits. And now the most important thing, to acknowledge my co-workers. Then Juan Zurita has done most part of this work, and Charles Crefin at the Complutense University in Madrid in what concerns to these topological lattices and the domain walls. And concerning Floquet Engineering, they were my co-workers, Beatriz Pérez, Miguel Bello, and Álvaro Gómez León. So thank you very much for your attention.